Adsense here. It is April 13th, 2017, and I'm going to do another video on what is going on with YouTube. I'm looking more at the larger picture than getting specific with regards to my own channel. A lot of us are in the same boat. So I'm here to provide my perspective. And I don't come from the left, I don't come from the right. I'm not left or the right. I often say it's not left or right, it's the state versus you. And so not everybody gets this. And so as I kind of give you the updates, the play-by-play of the Google, YouTube, doomsday, so to speak, at least on the financial level, I'm going to be giving you kind of a sociological perspective on society, and I am fairly critical of both men and women in general in the society. I believe that we have been taught to be selfish, to only be concerned with our own gain, just like the intro to my Outside the Box VHX trailer, the intro to Outside the Box TV from They Live. We are focused only on our own gain, and it's the downfall of us. If all the big YouTubers got together, and perhaps some advertisers, if they were to get organized, they would be able to do something about this, whether doing something about this is pressuring YouTube to do the right thing and not throw their content creators under the bus or to go their own way. But it takes a lot of work to go your own way. And a lot of the content creators and a lot of the advertisers, they go where the eyes are. They go where the money is. They go where the numbers is. They go where the action is. The thing is, for people to go somewhere else, the action has to be happening somewhere else. And so there are some people that believe that the system will fix itself. Some people see it as somewhat of a conspiracy, even if they normally don't have conspiracy leanings. It's the way the whole thing unfolded and how quick these corporations dumped YouTube and Google. It seems like an inside job. Many have reached the conclusion that crowdsourcing, direct audience support, is the only way these guys are going to survive. Now, it seems that some guys are getting a hit of maybe 65% down. It seems like I'm in the 65 to 75% down in earnings. And then you look over there, and there's a dude with like a huge channel, 400,000 subscribers, 500,000 subscribers. And they're being hit so hard, they're going down 95% initially, and then they end up at 34 cents per day in the case of David Pacman, and then the day after that, 17 cents per day, to a point where it just becomes laughable. Now, the benefit of a guy like that, or others that have a sizable audience, if their content is worth supporting in the eyes of the audience, they can survive at least what's taking place right now. They may still have their head up their ass with regards to geopolitics, with regards to what's going on. They may still do their tap dance where they mock people that are very concerned about the direction this country is on. And I think that there's a place for that in our society, for political atheism. Step back from the left and the right nonsense and pretty much see the writing on the wall. That's why I decided to go off-grid, using solar to power what it is that I do, using satellite internet on the land for weeks to months at a time, very concerned about events upon the horizon. Now we see actions in Syria. Today, there's news of a weapon being used for the first time by the United States in Afghanistan on alleged ISIS targets, even though it also just came out in the last 24 hours that the United States, in strikes on Syria, killed 18 Syrian fighters that were fighting ISIS. They were fighting ISIS. Uh-oh, I better calm down. I'm showing passion and emotion. I'm being controversial now. I said ISIS. And see, it's not just the key words to go back to YouTube. We're going to do geopolitics exclusively on the on-demand channel. It's no longer safe here, folks. It's like you're walking into a minority bar and yelling out racial slurs. It's a dangerous situation. This shouldn't be a dangerous situation. The people built YouTube. And so they started going after the keywords. Boom! Boom! And we're like, oh my God, dunk. Deflect, deflect. Talk about something popular. Grammys. Bruce Jenner. So-and-so stole somebody's jersey. No? And see, first of all, whether someone has a good forecast or not, hey, that's in the eye of the beholder, or my opinion. If someone is just entertaining enough, hey, you look at a guy like Adsense, he's someone I really don't know a whole lot about, even though we do share the same last name and are probably distantly related. Going back, if you go back far enough, and you see people that have made something of themselves, whether you agree with their comedy, or you agree with their politics, or whether you like the way they look or you don't like the way that they look, and sometimes we really have to work hard if we want to be successful to never allow ourselves to play victim. It's just going to get in the way of our progress forward. Well, we can look at some things that are hindering us, and we should be realistic. And if we realize we're being blacklisted, then we need to get into that. They have a blacklist of all these channels that they won't allow advertisers to put their ads on. Even if the advertiser goes and finds a real human, if they can, at Google/YouTube, and says, hey, no, seriously, I want to put ads here, I want to put ads here, I want to put ads here. So a friend of the Secular Talk YouTube channel and David Pakman, I think these guys are good examples. Very few of their videos I watch, but obviously they've covered some relevant things, and they've developed an audience, and they're just getting hit hard. Now they're going to be able to yield this blow. What I want to say is, we talk about how we've been put into our box from a sociological perspective, just every man and woman out for themselves, clickbait, clickbait, clickbait. Like I said, with the titles, and they start demonetizing those titles, and now they're going after using bots, using closed caption, what's actually in the video. And if you talk about certain things, and even if you use swear words, and AI decides that you're an undesirable channel for advertisers, right? AI getting involved in, determining things. It's not a good sign. So I think that for those of us that are on a mission to educate the world about certain things, we're not doing this for entertainment. We are motivated by different reasons. Money is a means to an end. It's not the end game. It's not just keep going up, 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 ride the choo-choo train, ride the choo-choo train. Like I said in a past video, I hope some of these people that did really well just pushing nonsense were a little bit more thoughtful with their money than they were with their morals. But for those of us that are on a mission, they're going to be crowdsourcing. I want to thank the new people that signed up at outsideTheBox.vhx.tv. Still a ways off from my goal, but is it something that I believe that I could achieve and grab within this year of 2017? Yes. And it'll be one of my biggest accomplishments of my lifetime. YouTube made it easy. Just go over there and subscribe. Access TV made it easy also to a certain extent, but that was also a lot of hard work. I also put a lot of myself into that program, and having done some travel and now seeing the robot AIs get involved, I see the value of Access TV, even if you don't earn any money from it. All the people in my past said, Alex, how much money do you make doing that? This is back in the day, 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I'm busting tables. And I was reflecting last night on, in a podcast so long, I just thought I would just come back and do this again in a briefer video. It really touches me to be able to move forward and have just a few people support, and every few days or every week or so have a new subscriber to the on-demand channel. And with regards to the content, quality, not quantity. Not 10 videos per day, not 15 videos per day. It's like YouTube was really trying to get us going in that direction. And I took a taste of that. every now and again, you know, doing videos and reporting news all day long and then just giving it to YouTube. You know, it's kind of like vomiting, really. Like, YouTube chords with you right here in the chakras or the sacred center or other parts of the brain. Oh yeah, there's a big connection between us and the internet, and specifically certain websites like YouTube. So how do we turn lemons out of lemonade? In conclusion here, we get better than ever at what it is that we do. We reevaluate what we're about. Are we about clickbait? Are we about sensationalism? Or are we about creating content that in some way, shape, or form, in our mind, is helping our audience? I see others and it looks like they're fucking with the minds of their audience. And I shake my head and I go, I'm never going to be that guy. And so there is a benefit from, I guess you could say, being able to tolerate poverty, right? Because we're in an economic crunch. And I rather be real to myself and my audience than sell out and be someone that I'm not. If I was okay with that, I would have been someone else a very long time ago. Perhaps I would have never embarked on this path to begin with. And I would have done something else with my life. Something else with my body. But not with this soul inside this body. There ain't going to be any corruption of this body as long as this soul is in control. Know what I mean? So, I'm actually a little bit optimistic about where all this is going to go. And I do think that we should put out some prayers for those men and women that could become homeless. And some of them may go through some bumps, and they may come out the other side, because I'm not convinced that we're going to go to full-blown hot war and invasion of the United States and things like that, things that are within the themes of my program in the next month or in the next year. I see things like this as part of a deliberate stepping stone. I kind of detest conspiracy theory as a label, but I'm definitely seeing how the corporations and YouTube are working together to starve out the independent news reporter. They don't want people reporting on these things. You should take it as a warning sign, because this is step one. With the Chinese influence over CNN, you see that video, by the way, of the Asian man being dragged off the plane. That's not by accident, this whole international incident with United Airlines. People are getting worked up. It's go time. At some point, pretty soon, it's going to be go time for World War III. And so, now that we know that Google and YouTube and these advertisers are this shady, as well as other nation states, as well as our own government, what makes you think this medium is going to be around after 2020 or after 2021? I don't think it will be. And my warnings about a YouTube Google doomsday, literally going black, not folks, we're going black because you feel like you're going black and you've been demonetized. We're talking about, that's what I'm talking about. And as terrifying as that scenario might be, that's the emotional roller coaster that they have planned for you and me. So prepare in mind, body, spirit, as well as digitally. As they say, back up, back up, back up. I'm going to be back with more, because I think that there's some valuable information that you should receive that I'm just not hearing from other guys. It's like, whatever their issue is, it seems like people want to stay in their little political box. And we really have to get outside the box to understand what's going on here. I'm Alex Ansary, sign off from Southwest Colorado, April 13th, 2017. I'm going to be putting some attention and focus on these daily videos, these short, to the point. Try to keep this under 5 minutes. As we see YouTube demonetized, we prepare for YouTube channels to go black, as we prepare for World War III, as we see that it's coming out more in the open, no longer denial. I'm going to be back on Portland Community Media, also known as Portland Cable Access, by June or July of this year, of 2017. We're coming out of the winter now. Very grateful. More daylight, There's going to be more videos than podcasts. There's still going to be free content at this channel. Very special thank you to those supporting each month. Doesn't matter if you want to kick in $1. Doesn't matter if it's 5 or 10. Patreon.com or directly through PayPal. Or if you're interested in some of the exclusive content, then the route you want to go is outsidethebox.vhx.tv. But I'm also going to continue putting out, for now, content here on YouTube. That's where the subscribers were. And for those that haven't been around since the beginning of this channel, which started in 2006, many years before Adsense, right? I was doing a weekly show, not for money, but because I believed in it. During those years, for those of you that forgot, it actually was less controversial to be a controversial person. During the Bush years, it was a little bit more welcome in this society, unlike today, where the left and the right will reject you unless you conform to their understanding of what's going on. So I see the light on the horizon. A subscriber a day would be ideal, but I understand, even though there's 11,000 of you, if that is not feasible. But regardless, the show will go on. With access to the internet. Yeah, the internet bill may be expensive in the eyes of some people. $90 a month? Yeah, but look at what you can do with it. You gonna complain about $90 a month? I'm not. You know, I look at my living expenses and how I can survive off under $400 a month. And I realize that most people couldn't do that 10 years ago. And I'm grateful. So, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I look at what other YouTubers are saying, even those that are losing their money, and they still don't get it. They're not even able to talk about how this is happening as World War III is about to kick off. Have you noticed that? They're not talking about where this is going. They're just hoping it all comes back. They're just hoping it all comes back. And in the end, if they do go on demand, it's going to be with the intention of just simply entertaining their audiences further. You know, do a little tap dance, you know, as opposed to getting real with it. In conclusion, I would like to say that very few fans and viewers have been actual friends. I've had to use extreme discretion with certain individuals. And I am scouting. I am looking for a volunteer video editing assistant. I think it would also be good to build a guest home here as well as get a garden going. That person could emerge ideally in the next month. I think it should be someone who I've already met or known. I think a lot of you have had a very long time to make those attempts before I had my land. So I am looking for a person to help me get more content out who feels the desire to help. Okay. I've never come across it yet off the grid. I've never had a working friendship relationship, if you will, off the grid. And maybe I meant to do it all myself. Every stinking bit of it. But don't you expect me to look like $100 every single day? Or $1 million? And it could just be this until the end. Of the internet being free as we know it. Not the end of the world. There is a mission afoot. And it is to help as many men, women, and children before these things happen. Giving them information on off-grid areas in America. Outside of this particular state, in fact. Geopolitical information that they're not getting from the left or the right. A deeper analysis on what Trump is doing when he signals to the world that a big event is coming. Okay. Yeah, there's a signal being sent. And we are moving in a direction of a global world war that the U.S. has not been designated to win. I haven't seen anyone in the alternative media get real since Trump hit Syria. That we're still acting like we're under the Bush years. Like this is just more of the same. And in fact, as a result of it reminding people like the Bush years, a lot of people are becoming relaxed. They're becoming relaxed. They're not working so hard to get out of the cage. They're looking for some sort of excuse. They're clawing at it. Be there on the left or the right. They're clawing for it. Some sort of light at the end of the tunnel. Some sort of messianic candidate for 2020. That's right. We're going to see the left and the right get together and bring a co-opted candidate to the limelight in the year 2020. I'm sorry, Jesus won't be returning to run for election then. The Lord has sent his assets. The Lord has sent knowledge. That's what he sent. He hasn't sent a candidate, he or she, it. They've sent the light. They've sent knowledge. They've sent spirit. They've sent soul. They've sent humans with souls to earth. That's what God has done. God was not going to save you through Donald Trump. God is not going to save you through Hillary Clinton. He will save you through the information within yourself. Alex Answer here, April 14th, 2017, here to give you something to think about other than global world war and taxes. So, this video is really directed at those already making some money on YouTube, more so than my own audience, but this is really a message that's being sent to those that maybe for the last few years you've been making a living off YouTube. And what we're seeing now is really an attack on independent content creators, whether they're political or not. Talking about even minorities suffering that have basically been able to become more independent than ever. And yet they say they're doing this to fight white supremacy. So I'm going to be doing more videos like this as the weather improves, things get warmer outside, things are less cold. We're not just going to be doing videos inside the studio. And I really want to place extra emphasis on seeing the value in your message and content and really recentering on why it is that you do what you do. Now, some of you are old school. In other words, you were involved in putting out news and information, documentary films, ideas, things of that nature before YouTube AdSense was flipped on. And what a lot of us noted was some of the corruption that came with the Google YouTube AdSense. It may have given some of us more economic freedom than we had in the past, less reliance on donations, and then now advertising, the point where some people stopped asking for donations completely because YouTube Google AdSense became the #1 source of income. Now that an estimated 60 to 95%, that's pretty much how much people are losing. The bigger the channel, the greater the loss. The smaller the channel, the less percentage. Sounds kind of crazy, but for those of us that are kind of in the 10,000 range, 11,000, maybe even higher, we're seeing, 75% gone. The big boys, 95% to 99%. So unless you're like super large and, already making deals with major corporations, or unless you're the Young Turks, we're going to see just a massive reduction in the amount of content that is available. So content creators need to recenter on why it is they do what they do. If they're in the entertainment world or comedy world, this isn't necessarily a video tailored for those into news and politics. They have to up their game. They have to be the very best at what they are. And so, we've seen success already. But for someone like me who covers news and politics and controversial subjects, geopolitics and what's happening in the Middle East, all those things apparently are no longer allowed on YouTube. And for someone like myself, and I believe I can see the writing on the wall, I believe they're going to take down whole channels next. it's important for people to understand that this is where we're going. We're going into a new reality to where there is no advertising. If we're going to survive economically, producing our own shows, it's going to be crowd-funded. It's going to be listener and viewer supported. You know, kind of like our own micro public radio or public TV. And that's something that not every audience member is ready to hear. But a certain amount of them are seeing the writing on the wall, and they realize that certain programs, certain shows are worth supporting. And so, you know, there's a lot of people out there that are struggling right now with the news, that we're going to war. And China and Russia are going to respond to Donald Trump. It's very frightening. It's scary. You know, the idea of websites going black and cyber attacks, we're about to walk through hell here in America. And our nerves are already going through enough with what's going on geopolitically. To watch most of our money evaporate like that is a sign of very troubling things on the other side of this current chapter of reality. So I think some audience members are going to require that there be some sort of restoration of trust with some of these alternative media folks that have basically lied to their audience to be sensational when the Google Adsense machine matrix was working for them. You know, didn't matter what they said, if it was sensational, if it was something that was marketed towards the individual that would click instinctually, then some of these people are self-made millionaires. But was it right for them to lie to their audience just because it got them more views and subscribers? What I chose to do was to stay true to myself. And that's why no matter how truthful some of those videos may have been, that's why they only had 100 views. That's why they were demonetized. You know, that's why the videos that I made kind of, you know, and when the comment section was open, yielded that type of attack on my person. False accusations of being a supporter of Miss Hillary Clinton. Pure hogwash. So now, and there's actually one person now, son of Hightower, one person out of the hundreds that called me a libtard without facts has apologized. And now over 15 of you are subscribed at OutsideTheBox.vhx.tv. That's not enough for me to sustain myself without Google AdSense, but you know what? It's a step in the right direction. And to be the only American, period, doing an outside-the-box or off-grid television show that's going to be broadcast on cable TV, all done in this shed, it's an honor. It's a little bit overwhelming to be the only American that's warning you about World War III and letting you know that Russia, China, and the United States are all close friends. And this war is about reducing the world's population. To be like one of the few humans, period, that's going against the left-right narrative, it's overwhelming, but your support makes it worth it. And then I pinch myself and go, now I'm off-grid during a time, the most dangerous time in American human history. After 10 years of trying to go off-grid, it has now happened as the domino pieces are lined up. The question is, what am I going to do with this freedom and time? Am I going to play video games? No. Am I going to watch TV? No. Am I going to do what other off-gridders do with their time? No. I'm going to use what I have to my benefit to help as many people on the planet as possible get out of the dangerous zones, the target cities. Because intuitively, I'm seeing everything that I thought would happen by 2020 and 2025. It's happening. It's happening. Everybody's getting ready. The U.S. Navy is moving to North Korea. China is sending hundreds of thousands of troops on the other side of North Korea in preparation for Trump's actions. We just saw Afghanistan bombed with a weapon never used before, 21,000 pounds, and the world says it sends a message. Yeah, I'd say it sends a message, all right. It sends a message that the aggression coming from our own country is increasing, not decreasing. So in closing, those people that are going to survive the Google AdSense doomsday are going to be those whose content is worth sharing. But this isn't just about geopolitics. You know, for those of you that are involved in self-help and making videos, trying to help people understand who they are spiritually, or if you're trying to help people become healthier, you know, educating people about what they eat, if the content's good and you genuinely want to help other people, the universe will send some of that positive energy back to you. That's my best advice. If you're doing it out of self-interest or for the money alone as the means to an end, the universe may be bringing you some lessons about your addiction to the material world. So these are things to think about. You're going to see some people become homeless probably by the summer of this year. And you're going to see some people become more successful than ever before as they clarify and hone their message. And I'm just counting the days, literally, until my weekly show is back on the air in Portland, Oregon. And actually, the return pilot, which you saw me upload to YouTube, that's going to be playing next week. So that's my advice for YouTubers that are kind of scared about what's going on. You need to not be naive about what's going on, about the massive economic depression taking place right now for those that have been creating their own content. You need to know this is by design, and that you need to hone your message to become better than ever, to be worth the few dollars that each audience member may be throwing your direction. What that means is to be doing it for the right reason, to help people. This isn't about entertainment. This isn't about clickbait. So I think there's a major life lesson for a lot of people in the alternative media, which is why I'm not super upset about it. Because if they're really about the truth, and they're really about helping people, then it's going to be time for some people on YouTube to do some soul searching, to realign with the truth, and be honest with themselves and how they may have acted in certain manners, in certain ways, because the beast system was rewarding them. It's time to do some soul searching.